fringe of the top 10 doing battle today here at Wynn Stadium. It's the Illawarra Steelers against the Balmain Tigers. Illawarra on 13 competition points, Balmain on 12. One of the great mysteries of the first half of the season. What has gone wrong with the Tigers? They won 5 of their first 6 and have won only 1 of their past 7. Statistically, it would suggest the two sides are very even. As we look at the rankings for the two teams, line breaks belies the form of the Balmain Tigers of late. They're up there with the leading teams in the competition. With me in commentary, Wally Lewis. What about it, this Balmain Tigers? Time to turn things around.
Well, I think it is, and that really is a disappointing fact, the one that you brought up then. They are managing to make plenty of line breaks, but obviously their support play is down a bit if they can't capitalise up with the scoreboard.
And what about your rating of this Illawarra side?
Well, I think they've done very well. There's no doubt about that. They were very ordinary in the first half of the season, but let's face it, they've come good over the last couple of weeks. They have lost just 1 of their last 5 matches, and I think that really has something to do with Paul McGregor's form. He's shown extraordinary form on the field, and you can see that the way that these teammates have rallied around him.
So tipping the Steelers to win?
I think so, in front of their very vocal home crowd.
Illawarra for Wally Lewis. I also like the Steelers. Back in a moment with all the action of the clash, the Tigers and the Steelers. Rod Wishart, his return from injury from a severed tendon in his finger has been quite spectacular.
It's been a great success, him returning to the football field. I guess he was regarded as a bit of a bolter to make the New South Wales team, a state of origin clash, but he did it in the finest possible fashion. Just his stability out there, his experience, and of course that right boot. Just can't put enough value on his success rate goal kicking.
Well, McBlane in charge of this one. Round 14 of the National Rugby League competition. And it's Shane Walker to get us underway during the week. Signed to a new 2-year contract with the Balmain Tigers. That was good news for them, and this is Craig Smith for the Steelers. Tackled short of the 20-metre line, in fact crawls another couple of metres. Kennedy was the tackler, and now Mackay with his first touch. Taken to ground by Darren Centre. He was the other player who signed the new contract. And this time carrying forward is Chris Leikvoll for the Steelers on the 30-metre line. Sideline duties this afternoon with Brett Kenny.
Yes, thanks, Vossi. It's quite a pleasant day here today, and not much of a breeze to speak of. And the conditions, ground service is magnificent. And I just think Illawarra will be a little bit too strong this afternoon, especially when you consider if they win today, they can leapfrog up into 8th spot.
A certain sharpness about the Balmain attack early. And Dunley delivers a short ball. It may have been a touch forward to Duckworth. Now Centre. O'Neill is there in support. Centre jogs forward for another 5. Last tackle it is for Balmain, right in front of the Illawarra posts. Away with Michael Gillett, kicking for the corner. Milford is there for the Tigers. Oh, superb! What a take from Lower Milford. The Tigers have opened the scoring, and the Steelers supporters are stunned.
See the bomb put up. Absolute pinpoint accuracy. It did appear as though Dunley perhaps was in front. He took no part, of course, in the try, actually impeding or grounding of the football.
Executed kick, and try it is to the Lower Milford. Interesting to note that of sideline conversions, he's got the best success rate of any kicker in the league. After 7 or 8 glances at the post, Nevin's kick is on its way and to the left. But all the same, Balmain off to the start they wanted. Away from home, leading the Steelers by 4 points to 0 in this try. Well worth having another look at.
Well, this was a pretty simple sort of try, really, wasn't it? They played out their sets of 6 and a nice high kick and a great lead.
And now inside the Illawarra 20. So all the play with the Tigers early. Dunley away with Gillett. Looking for a switch of play. Got through the grasp there of Craig Smith and has tackled 10 metres out from the line. Some good footwork from Michael Gillett. Dunley really getting this Tigers side going with Webber. Simon is there to wrap up the ball. Now only 3 metres from the Steelers line. Back they come. Dunley, he'll try that left boot again. Across field, Milford's the man coming through. Milford flies high, the ball is knocked down, and the Tigers will have their second try. Again, I've got no dramas with it. McBlane calls for the video referee. Dunley, 2 kicks. It'll be shown up graphically here. Well, Kennedy and Milford did appear to be. The Tigers 4-pointer for Michael Gillett. We'll wait for confirmation though. It's always a little lesson to be learned just to wait for that green light. It bounces back for Gillett. No knock on.
Bossy, that he has really stood in front. without too much effect at all. He doesn't look to have impeded or given, probably more importantly, given his teammate much of support.
Well, they've scored plenty of tries from kicks this year, and Brett Kenny, 2 already this afternoon. What a start for them.
Well, it's certainly been a great start, hasn't it? And I guess they looked at the first time they put the kick up and come up with 4 points, and they thought we'll give it a try again. But unfortunately, well, in a way it was unfortunate for Illawarra. Wishart actually got there first. He got in front of all the Balmain players, but couldn't take the ball.
And this kick for Nevin just 10 metres out to the left-hand side of the uprights. On target this time. So not even 10 minutes elapsed, but the Tigers are 10, the Steelers are 0.
Perhaps one point we're leapfrogging a little bit too quick. We've got to remember that, of course, they got up to that end of the football field, a position whether they could use the bomb to great effect. We've got to give a little bit of credit to the Balmain boys.
Guys, Balmain have made a change. Paul Sironen has come from the field. He's been replaced by number 14, Liava'a.
So Illawarra just starting to get a little more possession now. It's been around about 4 or 5 sets of 6 the difference in the first 15 minutes of this match. There's Barrett, good ball for Hart, hitting the line at speed. Inside the Tigers 40. Equally good was the tackle of Gillett. McGregor, there's the fend of McGregor, so strong. We saw that in Origin 2 at Suncorp Stadium. Callaway for Barrett. Kicking across field. Again, he was hammered after kicking. Donaghey is waiting for it. Donaghey, it's off his shoulder. Britten is with it, and there's another try off a kick. McBlane will point to the spot. There it is. 3 kicks, 3 tries, and it's 10-4 to the Tigers.
Well, the importance of the kicking game. Donaghey, while he was out there, he is looking directly into the face of the sun. You can just see the shadows of the players there. He's looking straight up into it. Had no idea whatsoever. Went up. Britten decided, well, that's mine. About time for me to touch down for a 4-pointer.
There's the inference, as now Wishart has this kick. 19 in from touch. He's only taken it back 12 metres. But successful. And that's more like it from the Illawarra Steelers. 10 points to 6 to the Tigers. 17 going. Then it's up for Lamey. Putting themselves under a bit of pressure on their own 20. Well, they're making a meal of it, in fact, in this set of 6, although something might come of it here. Long ball from Barrett to McGregor. McGregor on the outside of Milford. Oh, the pass has gone forward 2 or 3 metres. McBlane will call it back. It was taken on the toe of Andrew Hart.
Creates a little bit of uncertainty in defensive players' minds. You don't know whether he's going to offload or keep the play running himself.
Bert's thoughts in a moment as there's a turnover. The ball was lost by Kennedy, scooped up by Craig Wilson. He's on in 17 for the Steelers, and they are hot right now. 15 metres out, there's the man Barrett. Up the pass came for Reeves, off the deck for Robinson. It's play on, 10 metres out, then for Wishart. Oh, good tackle. Kennedy makes it on Rod Wishart. He was at full steam. Now McGregor. McGregor trying to wriggle free of the 2-man tackle, Walker and Sironen. Big numbers to the left-hand side. It's the Red Army on the left, and now the Tigers concede the penalty right on their own goal line.
I'm holding down. Not getting up quick enough. I warned you before, didn't I? Yeah. Man of my convictions. Come on.
Man of his convictions. Well, interesting.
Just a wonderful winter's day here at Wynn Stadium, one of the best football venues you'll find in the competition. Wishart has had plenty of these in his time. He's played all his first-grade football here in Wollongong, and that kick is wide. Unsuccessful, Rod Wishart. Look, we might just complete our earlier discussion on Trent Barrett. Brett Kenny, a word from you on young Trent.
Yeah, so I think he can be a future international, and he's already had a taste of State of Origin football, and as well he said, he holds the ball in both hands, and he's always got the opposition guessing, and I think he's going to be a great player.
All right then, back with the action, and the little 20-metre dropout found Reeves, and Leikvoll comes back. Some big boys in this Illawarra forward pack. Leikvoll is probably the widest and the tallest. And now Hart running into that tackle of O'Neill. Good offload. Purcell is there. Leikvoll gets a second touch. 30 metres out from the Tigers line. There's been some decent football played in this match. Robinson, Barrett on there. Great hands for Wilson. Then the inside ball from Barrett to McGregor. 10 metres out from the line. Good skills from the Steelers. Wishart on for Robinson, then for Barrett. He's got Leikvoll on his outside, floating ball! Finds Fitzgibbon, and the Steelers their second try. It comes the way of Simon. I think it was Donaghey who came up for the intercept. He was caught in no man's land, and at the end of it, little Craig Simon has scored the 4-pointer.
Sheer weight of numbers going with the Steelers. Some pretty good work from the Illawarra boys to open it up on the right-hand side. There's a great defensive effort from Nevin and Milford to really stop what looked to be an almost certain try. Good, talented play. An offload on the inside from Barrett. There's McGregor. Dragged down just 11 metres short, but as soon as they got the ball out, there's a tough decision to be made here. Do I go up in defence, or do I try a Brett Kenny intercept and run 90 metres for a try? Really, you could just see that they had 4 on 2. There was no way in the world they were going to be stopped from out there. Tough choice to make, Bert. Do you just try and catch the ball as it hits the intended catcher?
You can't get much closer than this with Rod Wishart. Filthy on the previous miss, but it's funny how things can turn out. If he gets the previous goal, perhaps they wouldn't have the try now. Make it any tougher than this from 23 metres out, and sprays that one well wide. Closer to the corner post than the upright. So 10-all the score. That after Balmain had led by 10-0 in the first 10 minutes of the match. And their 40-metre line, blindside shot with Simon, the try scorer. Gillett is there on halfway to make the tackle. And back with Walsh. Popping that ball back for Purcell. Fifth tackle. Oh, Walker's come up. Out of the line. McBlane was looking away to the left, checking they were inside the 10. In any case, McGregor goes forward, floats that ball for Wishart. Wishart back for Wilson. And 15 metres out, his run ends in the arms of Duckworth. And running back towards the defence. They've just lost their way a little in the last couple of sets of 6 as Walker. Tackled by Fitzgibbon, but still 10 metres out. It's the last tackle again. They haven't posed too many questions, with the exception of the kick. Dunley goes low this time. It bounces over the shoulder of Brendan Reeves and up into the arms. A try to Brendan Magnus. And Balmain have their third, and again it is from a kick.
Well, I wonder exactly what's happened there, whether it's gone over his shoulder, whether it's actually clipped.
Well, it's like
goalpost padding.
Well, it's like a dodgy kick on a wicket in India or Pakistan. The bounce it took.
Oh, and then he's turned around, the poor bugger, to try and grab the ball, and he's ran straight into the big yes.
Nevin's job, an easy one, right in front. At 14 points to 10, you can alter that to 16-10. And the 6-point margin is there, the converted try. Brett Kenny, what did you think of this one?
Well, this was a great little kick. It was always going to put Brendan Reeves under a little bit of pressure, but unfortunately for him, he got the perfect off break and then run smack bang into the goal post. So you're very lucky there's a lot of padding there, but that was a very good try for Balmain.
Taken to ground by Stimson. Purcell. Again it's Stimson with the defence. Half-time siren has sounded. McBlane didn't hear it. Illawarra get one more play. And it comes up McGregor to Wishart, kicking downfield. Nevin's on his way back. The ball is too deep. So that completes quite an eventful first 40 minutes. Balmain led by 10 after the first 10 minutes. They go to the break leading by 6. Here at Wynn Stadium, we'll pause with Balmain leading Illawarra by 16 points to 10.
With a couple of the errors that they've had, they probably have spoiled that a little bit, but it's been a very good game of footy.
Underway for the second half. Steelers running from right to left on your screens. Balmain with that 6-point advantage, but they did lead by 10 points to 0 early. In fact, in the first 9.5 minutes, they had scored 2 tries from bombs. A little more vocal. Robinson finding McGregor, and there's the fend and away from 2. Here goes Mary McGregor. Back inside for Wishart, their origin representatives. Then Barrett. 25 metres from the Tigers' line with Callaway, linking up with Fitzgibbon, and that is where the play ends. In fact, it was Wilson. 15 from the Tigers' line. Class on show from Illawarra. Barrett's overhead ball into the arms of Lamey, and Lamey hasn't passed. He hasn't passed the ball.
is a certain four-pointer gone begging. A very clever pass coming up. Barrett throwing it wide, and look at that. That's simple 2-on-1. That's not the play that you'd advise if you were the coach.
It's not his left knee, but his left shin. He's having a fair bit of trouble with it. He's now got it packed in ice, so we don't know whether he'll be back on it all.
Intercept for the Steelers. The pass offered by Hudson Smith. Well, there's concern for this Illawarra player. It was Wilson. He fell awkwardly.
No, wait. One.
Craig Wilson alerted the situation. They wanted a quick play the ball. As here was the pass of Smith. He was waiting for it, Craig Wilson. Illawarra now with Robinson. Wide there for McGregor. Kennedy sweating on him receiving the ball. 25 metres out. Wilson has recovered. Taken low by Magnus. McGregor. Robinson. Decoy was Smith. Barrett feeds on for Mackay. He's stepping. Almost away from Dunley. Quick play the ball from Mackay. Callaway. Then some quick hands. Fitzgibbon dropped behind him by Barrett. Advantage was played. Balmain inside the 10.
There's still 20 minutes to go, so I mean, I would have taken the kick for goal myself.
And on Wishart's good side as well. Here's Barrett. Intercept. Oh, here you go. Kennedy. The foot race. Barrett in the chase. Kennedy up for Milford. Milford is 20 metres out. He's away from Wishart. A stumble, but all the way to the line. There's three of them there for the Tigers, but Milford has scored it. Oh, you would have gone for goal now, I tell you what. The Balmain Tigers have made the Steelers pay.
Well, you called it. The two-pointer might have been all right, but really it was quite an erratic pass that led to the mistake, shifting the ball wide. Here it comes. Tell you what, he might have been a chance of being offside there. But just watch Rod Wishart. He comes across. I don't think he realises that the player he's missed in the tackle actually went to the ground. As soon as he fell off, he thought, oh no, I've missed him. He's raced away to score. Might not have had time to be able to get up and mount a fruitless chase, I guess, but he felt pretty ordinary about it. At one end of the field or the other. Bert, you can't give away situations like that. That pressure in possession is just too valuable.
Yeah, that's exactly right. If you had it, you mightn't have seen it, picked it up there on the replay, but McGregor actually ducked his head to let the ball go past. If he had realised that Kennedy was there, he probably would have left his head in the road.
He's paying.
As Nevin is successful, and the error count. He's paying for Illawarra now. 10-3 the errors. And that try coming directly from a Steelers mistake. Look, it's okay for us to be wise after the event. This is Reeves up with Craig Smith. Bumping his way forward. There's another offload for the Illawarra forwards, and then put down by Callaway, not for the first time in the match. It's mistakes inside their own half. 3 or 4 since half-time that are really hurting. O'Neill, wide ball for Webber. Webber running at Simon.
The difference between the two teams. Almost 4 times as many errors.
Loose play from the Tigers, loses them 5 on the play. Dunley, left foot step, past Smith, loses the football. Cannons off the legs of Callaway. Balmain end with it. But the first knock on is...
Maybe time to go out and throw some a little bit of speculation.
Smith, another offload. Callaway put down by the Steel as well. They're getting the possession. That one was dropped by Reeves. Reeves was complaining he was held on to before he received the football. Well, there can't be any complaint about that. And yet another mistake from Illawarra. Self-destructing.
Stay in, get in!
Dunley up for Gillett. High ball there for Webber. Then for Kennedy. Jason Webber. 40 out from the Steelers line. Of course, a field goal comes into calculations now. with 12 points the difference, 17 remaining. Nevin headed at an angle, got the pass to Kennedy. It's good night. Forget the field goal. It's all over for the Tigers. Kennedy races away, and it's now 26 points to 10. Where did that pass come from?
They're there to act on situations like that. Here it comes. He did extremely well. McGregor's one of the hardest defenders to get around in the game. An offload, well, maybe his arm has gone out and it's just rolled off the edge of the arm. Boy.
Here comes Nevin. 20 metres in. His kick off the upright and back into the field of play. 15 to go. Now Smith. He lost it, or rather he was trying to pass. It was intercepted. Another turnover inside their own half. Dunley wide with Gillett. Gillett links up with Milford. Oh, there's a hat-trick for Liava'a, and he will dance all his way back to Sydney. He loves to try this left winger, Liava'a Milford. Great work from the Tigers, and it's starting to look just a little embarrassing for the Steelers. McGregor and Wishart, and then you've got Kennedy and Milford on the opposite side.
Yeah, it's been a great tussle out there, and of course that's the side where the sun's out too, so it's a lot warmer over there. That's probably what they're running that side.
How's that southerly going?
It's coming, don't you worry. Might get in about Tuesday now. Being held up further down south.
The first 40 minutes.
Nevin looks to convert. Still plenty of time in the match for the Tigers to post a few more tries. Nevin is on target this time. Balmain go past the 30-point mark. 32 to 10. And another look at what was a great display of rugby league. Gillett's ball, and Milford is away.
That's great running. He's just picked the gap, and he's run back on the inside of Wishart. He was left stranded, Wishart, and there was no way he was going to stop him from there.
And right now, that scoreline is not far off their biggest win here. Balmain, error from the kickoff.
Guys, the other disappointing thing from the Steelers' point of view is the fact that they knew before this game, if they come up with a win, they leave the field with a win, they're going to jump two teams and finish up in 8th spot after this weekend's rounds. And you know, to lose it this way is just very disappointing.
Yeah, we were just watching that replay, Brett, of the kickoff as Illawarra attacked. Robinson for Britten. Britten back for Robinson, 10 metres out, kicks on the first tackle. Weber is back for the Tigers. Ball comes loose. That could well be a try for Fitzgibbon.
Check the first grounding by Illawarra.
Anticipating a 20-metre tap restart. That's the left hand of Robinson, which bats it down. So the knock-on is against Illawarra. Collected from behind. He needed to be there by Kennedy. Steelers with Smith on halfway. Now Craig Smith gets a chance to stretch out. And taken to ground 40 metres out from the Balmain line. Robinson up with Mackay. Weber is there. Last tackle for the Illawarra Steelers, 25 metres from the Balmain line. Robinson's ball is wide for Wilson. His little kick behind the line. Wilson regathers, 10 metres out from the line, serves it up for Barrett. And not a bad try late in the match for the Steelers to Trent Barrett, who is the leading try scorer in the league with 12. Steelers, 3.5 minutes remaining from 21 metres out. And Fitzgibbon is successful. Gets it back to 32 to 16. Illawarra players struggling to regroup. Dunley, left foot step. Tackled well from behind by Simon. That was a try saver. Centre. Balmain, they sense another try. Magnus, ball there for Weber. Steps inside Fitzgibbon. And Balmain, they will have an enjoyable trip home as Weber gets yet another try. 7 for the afternoon for the Tigers.
Well, Weber virtually came to a halt. He, as you say, stepped off both feet. It was a great little step, and
gives you a headache the number of times he looks up at the post, Shannon Nevin, but the style, it works for him. Right over the black dot. Good day's work for the Balmain Tigers. They recapture some of their early season form, scoring 7 tries to 3. And the highlight of that scorer's sheet, Liava'a Milford, their left winger, bagged a hat-trick. 38 points to 16, and with the win, Balmain leapfrog Illawarra on the competition table. They go to 14 points. The Steelers, they remain on 13. In what was a most impressive performance from the Balmain Tigers, they led 16-10 at half-time. Full-time, they've defeated the Steelers by 38 points to 16. On behalf of Wally Lewis, Brett Kenny, I'm Andrew Voss. We'll see you next time.